Okay, so in this lesson, we're going to discuss complex fractions, and this will be part one. Now, the definition of a complex fraction is this. A complex fraction is a rational expression whose numerator, denominator, or both contain one or more rational expressions. Okay? So, for example, this right here, so let's write this as simplified. So let me simplify. Alright, so simplify. And let's look at the first one. So let's say we had 10 divided by 3x divided by 5 divided by 6x. So this is a complex fraction because by definition it says, if you look at this fraction, the numerator and the denominator, so both the numerator and the denominator are rational expressions. They're fractions. Okay? All right, now here are the steps to solving a rational expression. Now, there are several ways to do this. So there are two different methods. The method we're going to use will be this method. Okay, so to simplify a complex fraction, you're going to first of all find the least common denominator of all the fractions within the fraction. So you can find the LCD. Then you're going to multiply the numerator and the denominator of the complex fraction by the LCD. And then you're going to simplify the resulting fraction. Okay? Alright, so basically, if you look at your denominators, so the first step is find the LCD of both fractions. So 3x and 6x. So the LCD of 3x and 6x is 6x. Alright, so I'm going to rewrite this over. So basically, what the next step is this. The next step is to, once you find the LCD, the next step is to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the LCD. So you're saying this. You're saying times 6x times 6x. So you're multiplying the top fraction by 6x and you're multiplying the bottom fraction by 6x. Now for some of you, you may want to write this as 6x over 1, 6x over 1. Okay? Now you're going to reduce. You're going to reduce this this product, and you're going to reduce this product. Okay? All right. So basically, you're going to say 3 into 3 is 1. 3 into 6 is 2. These x's here divide out. You're left with 1s in their place. But down here, these 6's divide out. You're left with 1s in their place. These x's divide out. You're left with 1s in their place. And that's all you can do in terms of reducing. And so now, remember the whole idea of multiplying by the LCD is to clear this fraction. So you see that 13, that 3x and that 6x, you wanted that to clear. And so it is now a 1. See, that's all 1s right here. That's all 1s right here. Factors of 1s. So 10 times 2 is 20. And then 5 times 1, all these are 1, so we just get 5. And 20 divided by 5 is 4. So there's your answer. Okay, the next one. You have 1 plus 2 divided by 5. And then the denominator is 2 plus 3 divided by 5. I'm sorry, right here. 1 plus 2 divided by 5 divided by 2 plus 3 divided by 5. Okay, you may want to rewrite the 1 as 1 over 1, right as a fraction. It's up to you. And write the 2 as 2 over 1. Okay? Now, you're looking at all your denominators. All of these denominators. Okay? All of the denominators in the numerator. All of the denominators in the denominator. So you have 1, 5, 1, and 5. So the LCD of those four things I have circled is 5. Alright, now, I'm going to rewrite this over. And I'm just going to write it as 1 plus 2 divided by 5 divided by 2 plus 3 divided by 5. Okay, now here's what you're going to do. You're going to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the LCD. Now, here, when we did this one, the numerator was just one fraction. Okay, so I just took this one fraction, multiplied by the LCD. Took this one fraction, multiplied by the LCD. Here, though, it's not one fraction, it's two fractions. So you need to put both of these in parentheses and multiply by the LCD 5. Put both of these in parentheses, multiply by the LCD 5. So what you do to the numerator, you do to the denominator. So you take the numerator, multiply by 5, take the denominator, multiply by 5. Now remember, the whole idea is to clear those fractions. So they clear those 5s on here. So the next step is to distribute. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2/5 times 5. Now you could have done that in your head, but I'm just going to go ahead and write it out like this for right now. But you could have skipped that step. And over here, 5 times 2 is 10, plus 5 times 3/5, plus 3/5 times 5. Alright, now let's reduce. These 5s divide out. These 5s divide out. Okay? So now you have this. You have 5 plus 2, because look, 2 over 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is still 2. Divided by 10 plus 3 over 1 times 1 is 3. And then combine your like terms. I get 5 plus 2 is 7. 10 plus 3 is 13. So there's your answer. 7/13. Alright, the next one. Alright, suppose we had let's see, suppose we had 1 minus 2 divided by x, and then x plus 4 divided by 9x. Alright, so again, that's an x right here. So again, remember 1 is really 1 over 1 minus 2 over x. And then over here, that's really x over 1 plus 4 over 9x. And I'm going to circle all these denominators. All these denominators right here. And based on those 4 things I have circled, I got to find the LCD. So the LCD is just 9x. Alright, so the next thing you do is you multiply. I'm going to rewrite this over. Write it over. And I'm going to write it as 1, the original 1. So 1 minus 2 over x divided by x plus 4 over 9x. Okay, now the next thing is to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the LCD 9x. Okay, both of them. And now you're going to distribute. You're going to distribute. Okay, so here we go. 9x times 1 is 9x minus 2 over x times 9x. So if you can't figure this part out in your head, then go ahead and write it out. Divided by 9x times x is 9x squared plus 4 divided by 9x times 9x. So if you can't figure this part out right here, what 4 divided by 9x times 9x is, multiply it out for right now. Alright, now we're going to reduce. So this x right here reduced with this x. Okay, and so you get this part right here is 2 over 1 times 9, which is 18. So this is 9x minus 18. Okay, now right here, these 9x's divide out, and you're left with just 9x plus 4. Oops, 9x plus 4. Alright, now remember the next step is to reduce numerators in the denominators. I'm sorry, factor numerators in the denominators. And so in the numerator, I can factor out a 9. So I get 9 times x minus 2. The denominator I cannot factor, so it becomes just 9x plus 4. And then if you notice, there's really nothing you can reduce, so there's your answer. Just go ahead and leave the numerator in factored form. Alright, the next one. Alright, suppose we had 4x squared minus y squared divided by xy, and all of that's being divided by 2 over y minus 1 over x. Okay, now I'm going to circle all the denominators. This one, this one, this one. And all you do is just find the LCD. So the LCD, so remember every factor you circle has to be part of the LCD. So I got to have an X. There's one factor here, none here. So I need one. There's a factor Y here, one factor here, one here, none here. I need one. So the LCD is XY. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this over. So 4x squared minus y squared divided by xy. All that's being divided by 2 over y minus 1 over x. Alright, so I multiply both numerator and denominator by the xy. Now you see that numerator, that's just one fraction. So I'm not going to put parentheses, I'm just going to say times x, y. See this denominator, those are two fractions, so I'm going to put those in parentheses. And I'm having both of those have to be multiplied by xy. So what I do to the numerator, I do to the denominator. Alright, and then now you're going down right here. Let's look at this one here. So the numerator, this xy divides with this xy. And all you have left in the numerator is 4x squared minus y squared over 1 times 1, which is just 4x squared minus y squared. Okay, now in the denominator, I'm going to distribute the xy. So I really have this. I have 2 over y times xy. Oops. 2 over y times xy minus 1 over x. So I'm going to distribute. So both of these terms have to be multiplied by xy. So 1 over x times xy. Alright, and then reducing. This y reduces with this y. You'll have factors of 1. This x reduces with this x. You'll have factors of 1. And so my numerator so far is this. 4x squared minus y squared divided by, now 2 over 1 times x times 1 is 2x minus 1 over 1 times y is y. Okay, so that's where I'm at. Alright, now remember the next step is to factor numerator and denominator. So here, that's the difference of two squares. So when I factor that, I get 2x minus y times 2x plus y divided by 2x minus y. And now notice I can reduce these, for factors of 1, and so the answer is just 2x plus y. That's the answer. Alright, let's look at this one. Look at number 5. Let's suppose we had 1 divided by x plus 2 divided by x squared. And all that's being divided by x plus 8 over x squared. Alright. Okay, so the LCDs, I'm going to circle the denominators. So x squared, that's a 1 right here. So if you need to put the 1, put the 1. And that's an x squared. So the LCD is x squared. Alright, so I'm going to write this, and so I'm going to multiply numerator and the denominator by x squared. So I get 1 over x plus 2 over x squared divided by x plus 8 over x squared. So all I did was rewrite the original problem. So now you're going to, since the numerator has two fractions and both of those have to be multiplied by x squared, put that in parentheses. Put that in parentheses. So I get the denominator times x squared and the numerator times x squared. Now you're going to distribute. And distribute. Same thing down here. Now you're going to distribute. So you have 1 over x times x, oops, that's an x. 1 over x times x squared plus 2 over x squared times x squared. So that's what you have. So both of these fractions have to be multiplied by x squared. So that's what you see here. 1 over x times x squared plus 2 over x squared times x squared. Divided by. Okay, so x times x squared is x cubed plus 8 over x squared times x squared. So 8 over x squared times x squared. Alright, now let's reduce. This x reduces with this x squared, and you're left with just an x. These x squareds divide out. These x squareds divide out. And so it looks like you have this. You have 1 times x is x plus 2 over 1 times 1 is just 2. That's your numerator. Divided by your denominator. That's just going to be x cubed plus 8. Alright, remember the next step is to factor your numerator and denominators. Well, my numerator cannot be factored, but my denominator is the sum of two cubes. Sum of two cubes, because I can write x cubed as parentheses x raised to the third power, and I can write 8 as 2 to the third power. This is your f, this is your L, and so I get x plus 2, so x plus L, times x squared minus 2x plus 4. So that's your denominator. So I get x plus 2 divided by, in parentheses, x plus 2 times x squared minus 2x plus 4. And now reducing, the x plus 2's divide out, and your answer is, not forget to put 1's in their place, and the answer is 1 divided by x squared minus 2x plus 4. Alright, let's do one more in this part. So let's look at, let's look at this one. Okay, so this is number 6. You have 1 minus x over y divided by x squared divided by y squared minus 1. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and write this 1 over 1, 1 over 1. And so I'm going to circle all the denominators. I'm going to circle those 4 denominators, and so the LCD is just y squared. Okay, so now I'm going to rewrite this as the original problem. So 1 minus x over y divided by x squared over y squared minus 1. So both the numerator and the denominator have to be multiplied by the LCD. So both of those have to be multiplied by y squared. And now remember, the next step is to clear the parentheses, and remember the whole purpose of multiplying by the LCD, numerator and denominator, is to clear the fractions. So you get y squared times 1, and then minus x over y times y squared. So really what you have is this. 1 times y squared is y squared. Minus. Now if you can't do this part in your head, then write it out. You have x over y times y squared. So x over y times y squared. Divided by, okay, distributing, distribute. So I have x squared over y squared times y squared minus 1 times y squared is y squared. Okay, so let's reduce. This y, you have one factor here, you have 2 here. So that divides out to a factor of 1. When you reduce this y with 2 factors here, you're only left with 1 y. Over here, these y squareds divide out, and that's all you have. And so I get y squared minus, and that's xy. So y squared minus xy divided by, and that's x squared minus y squared. So x squared minus y squared. All right. Now the next step is to factor out to factor the numerators and denominators. So here I can factor out a y, so I get y times y minus x. Here, that's the difference of 2 squares, so I get x minus y times x plus y. Alright, now you got to notice this. So you got to reduce next. So this factor y, there's no factor y's down there. This y minus x, I don't see a y minus x down here, but I see its opposite. See, these are opposite right here. So when I reduce those, that's a 1, that's a negative 1. And so I get negative y times negative 1 is negative y divided by x plus y. Or you could have just brought the negative out in front. It would look like this, negative, and then the fraction y divided by x plus y. Both of those are the same thing. Okay, so that's going to take care of part 1. We're going to continue this lesson with part 2.